A large crowd turned out on O'Connell Street to watch the Mayor of Sligo, Jim McGarry, turn on the Christmas lights. With the recent pedestrianisation scandal occupying the minds of most, it was no surprise that protesters made their voices heard.
What do you own in the street? What part of the street do you own? What part of the street do you own?
I'm only one person in this holy place, and the Mayor of Sligo.
What interest
have
have
the
you in
respect
the
for
street?
the office of the Mayor
What
of
interest
Sligo?
have you in
Or
the
do you
street?
understand respect?
What interest
Do you
have you in
understand
the street?
respect? I'll ask
I
you the
think I
question.
understand it
I'm
better
the Mayor
than you
of
do.
Sligo.
I
I'm
think
here
I
as
understand
one
it.
person.
I think
One
I
vote. I've
understand
only
it
got
better
one
than you.
vote in relation to
You
this
came
issue.
out on national radio and decried this street and said it was a disgrace. You said this street was a disgrace. How dare you do that?
You're a disgrace.
Councillor McGarry said it was a shame to have protesting on this festive occasion and gave Sligo TV his opinion on O'Connell Street. I'm here now with the Mayor of Sligo. Now, we just saw there on the street, you're here to put the lights on and start Christmas,
Yes.
But you're kind of bombarded there by a lot of protesters against O'Connell Street. What do you want to say to them?
Well, I wasn't. There was a number of people, a very small number of people chanting in the background when I was trying to speak in relation to an issue that has nothing to do with today at all. I was invited as the Mayor of Sligo on behalf of all of the people of Sligo to come down here and to kickstart the Christmas festive season in Sligo for 2009. And that's what it's about. There's a lot of children around, and hopefully over the next coming weeks it's their time of the year. And we want to get it off on a positive note. And it's an important time for the business community in Sligo, as it is for all the people in Sligo, in particular, as I says, the children. And that's what it's all about, and get the lights going. For years we were criticised that the lights was inadequate, or that we didn't have lights at all. And it's nice to be here as Mayor of Sligo and to see that the lights are switched on officially now. And there's more than one street, on Collins Street as well. There's lots of other streets here, Grafton Street and Teeling Street and all of the other, Wine Street, and I don't want to leave any street out, but there's lots of streets here that have put their own hands in their own pocket and, you know, paid over and above the contribution to ensure that the lights are switched on this year. And also it has the full support of the Borough Council, the funding for these lights as well. So it's
very festive as well, with the music in the background there supplied by Ocean FM. Yeah. But I mean, we can't ignore the fact that there is this huge thing going on the last couple of weeks, that people really want the street opened.
I don't see it as huge. I mean, I see the facts of the matter is there's only about 25 to 30 people here today, and they were very boisterous and out of order really, because it wasn't the occasion for. They had loads of protests over the last number of weeks. The actual street is opening on the 9th of December, which is next Wednesday, and I'm the Mayor of Sligo.
How do you think that's going to go down?
Well, hopefully we'll get it opened, but what the most important point about today is that I came here as Mayor of Sligo. In relation to the opening of O'Connell Street, I have only one vote on this issue. I don't have any other special, dispensations in relation to the opening of O'Connell Street or the keeping.
And can I ask you, what was your reason for voting to reopen O'Connell Street?
Yeah, I've supported the opening of O'Connell Street because I've been very consistent on this. In 2007, I was a general election candidate, and all of the people, every second door I went on in the east ward of Sligo town, huge area, every door was about O'Connell Street and about closing O'Connell Street, and how those people were totally disenfranchised by the closure of O'Connell Street. And I consistently said that time, look, if we're going to pedestrianise O'Connell Street, we need to be able to put the proper traffic management system in place to ensure that nobody is disenfranchised in the way that those people were disenfranchised. And as well as that, we need to have the funding to pedestrianise it. Now, we failed on both counts. The manager closed the street. It wasn't a decision of the elected representatives. I said it was premature. 2.5 years later, the funding wasn't secured to pedestrianise it. All we did was close a roadway, and those people will remain to be disenfranchised that I spoke.
So if there was more funding, would the street have remained closed?
Oh, absolutely. If there was more funding, we would have pressed ahead with the completion of the pedestrianisation of O'Connell Street. And
I think a lot of people here don't actually mind the fact that the street hasn't had anything done to it. So would that kind of change your mind at all?
No, it didn't. It wouldn't, because it didn't add anything to the town at all by just putting bollards on two ends of the street and closing it. And as I said, it lacked vibrancy.
Apart from atmosphere and everything like that.
There was atmosphere on times on the street, but then again there was lots of times there was no atmosphere in the street as well. It wasn't about that. It's if you close the street to pedestrianise it, you pedestrianise it. And the manager failed to get the money, and we've been told that there was no money available to it. And we also failed to put the proper traffic management system in place to ensure that we didn't cut people off completely from this side of Sligo, which we did. So there was a lot of mistakes made, and none of them were mine.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Protesters against the reopening of O'Connell Street said leaving the street pedestrianised would be a great Christmas present. I'm joined now by Tara McGowan and Denise Rush. The two of you were here to protest against the reopening of O'Connell Street today. Now, I was talking to the mayor just a few minutes ago and he said that you were quite boisterous and there wasn't many of you around. So what do you have to say in response to that?
There was actually about 50 of us here today on the street, and most people were here actually to demonstrate against the reopening of the street. It's a very cold, wet December day and we all made it out. We've got a big kind of momentum growing behind the campaign to keep the street pedestrianised, and we're just being as loud as we can at the moment so that our voice is heard, because we've been continuously ignored over the last 6 months. And he also said that this was kind of supposed to be a jolly festive day, so it wasn't the day for it. But as it turns out, you were kind of the only people here for the lights. So what do you have to say to that?
Well, exactly. I mean, there is this strong support for the campaign, and this is one of a series of events where people have come out and shown their support of keeping O'Connell Street pedestrianised. Indeed, we were the only people on the street today, so I didn't see that there were a lot of people out celebrating because it is a cold day, but people obviously feel very strong about this issue and will continue to do so. And we'd really like to ask the Mayor and the Borough Council to hear the majority of people who do not want traffic back on O'Connell Street. If possible for Christmas, please.
Is there anything you want to say to the Mayor?
We'd like our street back. We'd like to keep it the way it is. Everyone's happy with the way it is. There's been no public call as big as ours to keep the street to open the street. So we just like the street back for Christmas, please.
Because another thing he did mention was the fact that the funding went through, and he said because it fell through, that that's why he's reopening the street. And he said there kind of wasn't much of an atmosphere after 6 o'clock, and that the two bollards at each end didn't make a difference.
Well, I mean, there's a lull at 6 o'clock when shops close and the street gets busy again at 8 or 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the evening. I mean, there were a lot of things said about the street that the Mayor has said that I don't particularly agree with, like that O'Connell Street is a dangerous street. It's a dark and a dangerous street, and to me that's just not true. O'Connell Street's a very safe street. People are enjoying the street. It's a busy street during the day. It's a great place for children. I come into town with my kids. They run down the street. My mum's in a wheelchair. It's going to be much more difficult to negotiate myself around the town, and for a lot of people. I'm not just speaking for myself.
And what about you, Matilda? Do you like the fact that the street, you can walk down the street with no cars?
Yeah.
What would you like to say to the Mayor? Do you want to keep it open? You want to keep the street closed to cars?
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Yes, it's Christmas on Ocean FM, non-stop Christmas hits with a hint of classics. We'll mix the old with the new.